welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where, yes, I'm on my laptop today. It's probably going to be the only day that I'm on my laptop. Many of you have noticed that I've been on a short break and pre-recorded the last few videos on the channel. And so I apologise for that. I apologise if I've missed your birthday shout-outs. Don't worry, I am intending to catch them all up over the coming days. There are a number that I have been remiss about. But I wanted to, I need to do a video today, obviously. We don't want to miss out. We've done we've done 2 videos a day for every single day since the start of the first pandemic. So I don't want to break that streak. But also today is the birthday of a constructor I really admire greatly. The Pedaling Pianist, in my mind, is one of those constructors who just have, very unusual brains in the best way. So I'm thinking of people like Marty Sears, Dorlear, Jay Dyer, just really unique minds. And this puzzle's been recommended to us as a birthday present for the Pedaling Pianist, whose birthday it is today. It's called Killer Octopus. And I had a quick look at the rules before I turned on the webcam and was amused to read that octopus rules apply. I was thinking, I don't know, what are octopus rules? But luckily it does explain. So I'm going to have a go at this for you. I'm in holiday brain mode, so I might be particularly useless today. I apologise if that's the case. And I'm just trying to think whether I've got anything to tell you about before we kick off. We're inching up towards 600,000 subscribers, where we've got a special pack of puzzles prepared for you by some of the great and the good of the sudoku community. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy the channel and you want a free pack of amazing puzzles, consider subscribing. It is, of course, free to subscribe to YouTube channels. And the other thing I wanted to mention, actually, was a couple of people who've written to me with particularly moving emails recently. Tom, who lost his father on Monday. Tom, obviously, our sincere condolences, and thank you for taking the time to write to us even in such heartbreaking circumstances. And also to Yvonne, who wrote to me last night. And Yvonne, you know what was in your email. Thank you for sharing it with us. It does mean an awful lot to me. And yeah, with that, let's turn our attention to happy things and having a look at Killer Octopus, and let's see what birthday celebrating and hopefully chocolate cake eating the Pedaling Pianist has in store for us. These are the rules. We've got normal sudoku rules apply. That means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row, in every column, because I'm not used to this mouse, and every 3x3 box. There's not much in this grid, actually, is there? Digits in a cage must sum to the given total. So those 3 digits sum to 11, these to 14, these to 14, those to 5. That's all we've got there. And then it says octopus rules apply. I love the way it says IE, as if, I probably should have known what octopus rules are. But IE, draw 4 lines that must not cross or overlap anywhere except row 5, column 5, where they all intersect. So, okay, so there's four lines going through row 5, column 5. The 4 lines must have 180-degree rotational symmetry about row 5, column 5. So that means, let's go to the pen tool. Yeah, this should work, shouldn't it? So if I draw that, no, hang on, I've gone too far. So what we're saying is that the line that we draw through this midpoint here has to be rotation symmetric. So if that one kinked upwards, that one has to kink downwards in order to maintain the 180-degree rotational symmetry. You can see if we swung this line 180 degrees with the center of the grid as the pivot point, the line would look identical. So it is 180 degrees symmetrical, and that seems to be a condition. Sorry about the sound quality today, by the way, if it's not up to snuff. My laptop is meant to be decent, but Mark thought I did a crossword video while I was away, and Mark thought the sound was a bit worse than usual. There's nothing I can do about it, so my apologies if so. Now, what next? These 4 lines visit exactly 2 cells on the edge of the grid. Hang on, is that the 4 lines or each line? Which are the beginning and the end of the line. Right, so I think the way that's meant to work grammatically is that each line has to visit 2 cells in the edge of the grid, and those will be the beginning and the end of a line. So let's imagine that, that's a line. I think that might be possible, something like that. And then you can see that this line would, so that would be the start and the end of this line, because that's basically what it says. Now, we don't know, of course, what the line might have done before it gets to the edge of the grid, so we could have some crazy lines, something like that, and then what's the equivalent of that? It's going to be something like, have I messed this up, or is that, it might be that, I don't know, something like that. It looks about right. Let's restart the puzzle. There's one more condition for the line. Oh, right, all the lines are the same length, i.e. in number of cells passed through. So, so that would be a length 9 line, if it was a very simple line like that, and that would mean that all the other 3 lines had to be a length 9 line. Now, the 4 lines that we draw are same difference lines, i.e. pairs of adjacent digits on a line must all have the same difference, although this difference may be different for different lines. So let's go back to my example line. So let's say that was a line, and let's say that this was a 9, and let's say that this was a 6. Then 9 minus 6 is 3, and that means every cell on this line would have to have a different, so I'd actually break the line. Sorry, as you can tell immediately my brain doesn't work. This line couldn't exist, because the line would go 9, 6, which is a difference of 3, and now this can't be 9 anymore. So these 2 digits here have to have a difference of 3. So we have to go 6, 3, but then this can't be 0, and it can't be 6 again, can it? Because that's going to break the rules of sudoku, so goodness. Okay, so there's probably going to have to be some crookedness to the lines, is what we're establishing. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I think what we're being told, ab initio, because I've got to draw 4 lines, and each line has to visit the edge of the grid. The lines can't be of length 1, can they? They've got to be of some length that's greater than 1. And once the line is of length greater than 1 and it has a centre in row 5, column 5, and once the line cannot intersect or cross itself, then what that means, I think, is that the lines must do something like this. They're going to have to all because they're not allowed to touch each other. It says not cross or overlap anywhere except row 5, column 5, where they all intersect. So the lines all pass through row 5, column 5. Once this blue line passes through, it's rotationally similar. So once this line goes to row 5, column 5, its rotationally symmetrical counterpart must also be on the blue line. So each line is going to basically have to start going straight through row 5, column 5. Now, what that is making me want to do is to write 5 into row 5, column 5. Because now what we're saying is that somehow or other yeah, I think my instinct there is right, although how I explain this is perhaps less clear. So I can see that if I write 5 into the middle, I can deal with the extreme digits. What do I mean by the extreme digits? Well, I know that there must be a 9 somewhere, and there must be a 1 somewhere in the panoply of digits that live in box 5 of the sudoku. So, I mean, imagine I put 3 in the middle, for example. What line can I now put 9 on? I can't put 9 anywhere, because if I put 9 on the pink line, this digit, well, this is a difference of 6, and we can't put -3 here. So the only digit that works between 3 and 9 apart is 9. We'd have to have another 9, and that can't be true. And the same is going to work if I put 8 here. Then I've got the problem with where does 1 go? Wherever I put 1, that's a difference of 7, and the other side of the line couldn't be filled. So I think that is 5, and what that will allow me to do is to deal with 1 and 9, because one of these lines is now going to be a 1 opposite a 9 with a difference of 4. And then I can deal with 8 by having 8 opposite 2. I can deal with 7 by having 7 opposite 3. And I can deal with 4 and 6 by having them opposite each other. So I think this is what we're being told is the start of the puzzle. Although goodness only knows. You're going to have to use the... Hang on, let me just go back to the rules. I just want to check whether there's anything else I need to consider about the... Oh yeah, the lines have to get to the edge. They all have to be the same length. So they can't stop here. They've got to go much further. And they all have... Yeah, okay. Okay, so that one thing that we have learned from this is that each line does have a different, same difference, because the line that has 9, 5, 1 has a difference of 4. The line that has 8, 5, 2 has a difference of 3. The 7, 5, 3 line has a difference of 2. And the 6, 5, 4 line has a difference of 1. So the 4 lines all have different same differences. Now, what does this mean? Well, one thing it means is, well, however the lines grow, right, okay, I can see something here, although I'm now questioning, it's not, I was just wondering whether this was about the Fistmafell ring for a moment, which is such a strange thing to think about, but I just want to give that a moment's thought. I don't know. It might be, it might be, because the thing I have noticed is that the line that has 1 and 9 on it, let's just say it's this one, just for the sake of exposition, let's say that's a 9 and that's a 1. Now, and let's extend the line. Oh, hang on. Let's extend it in the right color. Let's say it extends like that. Then those 2 digits, that one and that one, we actually know what they are, because this line is a 4 difference line. and we've sort of hit the extreme digits, which are the 1 and the 9. So we're always going to have 5s opposite each other on the 1, 5, on the 9, 5, 1 line. But the same is true, I think, on the 8, 5, 2 line. Because the 8, 5, 2 line has a difference of 3. And so obviously you can't, let's do that line as well. Let's say this one does that. And let's say that this is the 8 line. You can see we can't, the only difference of 3 sudoku digit, we can't write -1 here, is 5 again. So I think what we're being told is that there are 4 5s on the Fistimofel ring, which is why I was thinking about the Fistimofel ring. That I think is correct, isn't it? Because any extension of any of these lines is going to be onto the Fistimofel ring, this collection of digits there. And on those 2 lines, the ones that have the 9 and the 1, and the 2 and the 8 on, they are going to require a 5 to be, which means that a 5 on both sides of the sort of rotationally symmetrical line. So that means there are 4 5s in the Fistimofel ring. And that means that you cannot extend those particular lines into those positions, because if you do write 5 in the corner of the Fistimofel ring, now you can't put 4 5s in this collection of digits. And I don't know if that's clear. I mean, it's such a ludicrous way to approach the puzzle, but it's just, it's something that one gets used to if one's used to counting digits in the Fistimofel ring, which I most certainly are. That any digit you put in the corner of the ring can only appear a maximum of 3 times in the ring, because if this is a 5, we could have a 5 in one of these squares, and we could have a 5 in one of these squares. So we could put 5, actually, hang on, it's a 5 in the middle, we can't do that. We could put 5 there and a 5 there, say, but we couldn't get a 4th 5 in the ring, because sudoku would prevent it. So I think what we're meant to appreciate, well, this is interesting, isn't it? Because what that means is there is a 5 in the 11 cage, there is a 5 there, there's a 5 there. Oh, hang on, I've got to deal with the middle digit, right? And none of these can be 5 by dint of the middle digit. So the 5 in the 11 cage means the other 2 digits in the 11 cage have to add up to 6 without using 5 again. So they have to be 2, 4. So this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. So that means that we've got a 2, 4, 5. I can't actually see that. I'm going to just delete that for a moment. I must have some option. Maybe it's large digits. Is that it? Is it large digits? So if I do that, I've turned large digits off. Oh yeah, that's better. There we go. Now I can see the cage total. Right. So has that helped us? The answer is I don't know. Well, I can see several things, but I don't know which one of them to talk about. The first thing to say is that actually what I was about to say is wrong. I'm not going to say that now. Okay. Where does the green line go for its next digit? Oh, God, I've just seen something obvious. Bother. Right, I've not thought about this. There's parity. There's a parity point here. Right. I got this by thinking about the green line and thinking how it had to extend, but the point here is much more general than that. Let's extend the purple line there. And let's think about the parity of this square, which is something I've not thought about. Could this ever be even? 2, 4, 6, or 8? And the answer is no, because of the same difference quality we have to have vis-a-vis the 5. Imagine this was 6. What number do we put in here that has the same difference between 5 as it does with this 6? Well, it would have to be the digit midway between 5 and 6, which is 5.5, which is we can't write in Sudoku. If this was 8, this would have to be 6.5. It doesn't work. So actually, there's some much more general points. Have we got to count the odd digits on the Fistmafell ring or something? I've got 8 line tips that have to extend from box 5 into the Fistmafell ring. So 8 of the 16 digits of the Fistmafell... No, actually this is... So 8 of the 16 digits will be forced to be odd in the Fistmafell ring. Oh my goodness, what was that noise? Sorry, there's a drilling sound coming from somewhere. Okay, well let's go back to the green line tip then. Where does that go? Because that can't go into an even digit, and the 11 cage has 2 even digits in it, it must hit the 5 that lives in the 11 cage for its next cell. It can't overlap with the blue or the purple or the pink, if you prefer. It can't overlap with those lines. So this green thing either goes like this, or... Oh, hang on. This is okay. My brain is being appalling. This is why it's called octopus. Because there are 8 legs. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous, right? Yeah, this is the octopus. His body, the 5 in the middle, the circle. It has 8 legs coming out from it. Oh dear. Right. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. Slow brain Simon today. Right, okay, well I'm going to go back to a different thought I had, which is if we look at the arrangement of 5s in these squares, you can see there's always, if this is a 5, then that's a 5 by Sudoku. And if this is a 5, then that's a 5 by Sudoku. There's sort of an X-wing of 5s in boxes 4 and 6. But what that's going to mean is that one of these squares at the top of a 14 cage is definitely 5. And this is going to get very difficult to pencil mark, because that means that definitely one of those squares is a 9. Definitely. I've just seen something else actually. But the corollary of that is, imagine the 5s were disposed like this. So this is a 5-9 pair. Then this is a 5. So this can't be a 5-9 pair. So this would have to be a 6-8 pair. But 6 and 8 are even. And that's going to restrict, like the pink line. It's very hard to do this because we don't know how to... Yeah, we don't know how to... Oh my goodness, there's another noise. It sounds like the drain gurgling over there. We don't know which way round the octopus is going to sort of position itself. So if the octopus did that, then this would be a 6-8 pair, which would mean that oh, right, okay. Ah, wow. Okay, I can now see it. Right. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful puzzle. Right. Okay, let me try and explain what I've just seen. So what I've just seen is there is... Right, the green line, I'm now going to claim, is the only line in the puzzle that is able to go into any of those three squares. And that is because the green line's extension, pen's just dropped on the floor, the green line's extension has to be into the 11 cage. And it has to be into the 5 of the 11 cage because of parity. And therefore, say it was there, the green line would look like that for its first few cells. Now, could any line, could the blue line in this instance, therefore, come into these two squares? Well, no, because to do so, it would have to take an even digit from the 11 cage, which is not allowed. So the only line that can take any of those squares there, actually, maybe I can almost use the green colour, is the green line. That green line can go into exactly one of these squares and exactly one of these squares, but no other line can can do that. Now, depending on which way round the 5s go in rows 4 and 6, yeah, the octopus is going to have it's going to have droopy legs on one side and high legs on the other, because on one side, this 14 cage is a 6-8 pair. Don't know which side. But there are 3 line segments, either on this side or this side, that have to get out of the central box. So imagine this was a 6-8 pair. Let's make that 6. So if that's a 6-8 pair, that means that it is it's out of bounds for any of these line segments, all of which have to extend because we have to get them to the edge of the grid. So they would have to go into those 3 cells. And they would have to be in order, wouldn't they? Because they can't overlap with one another. So this blue one would have to go there, the red one would have to go there, and the pink one would have to go there. Now, if on the other hand, this is the 6-8 pair, and we know one of these is the 6-8 pair, then these have to extend. So then the blue one would go there, the red one would go there. So the red line always has the 5 on it. Right, hang on, I've had another thought. Now, this puzzle is beautiful. It's absolutely bizarre, but beautiful. Right. So we know that the line, we know this line definitely has a 5 in one of these two positions. Therefore, we know, well, we now know, I believe, that this line is either the 1-9 line or the 2-8 line. Because we are capped out on 5s in the Fister-Maffel ring. There can't be more than 4 5s in the Fister-Maffel ring. And we know that there must be 4 5s on the 1-9 and the 2-8 lines. So there are no 5s on the 3-7 and the 4-6 lines. Now that means that this green line, and we still don't know where it goes, but it definitely is either 1-9 or 2-8. And I might be about to conclude the same for the red line. I'm just going to think a bit harder about that. Because we know either those 3 or those 3 are the exact order of how the pink, red, and blue line extends, it's always the red line that picks up this square or this square. So the red line that must be 1, 2, 8, and 9, which means these other lines are 3, 7, 4, and 6. Now, what on earth does that mean? So that means let me just think about this. So if we go this way, if this is out of bounds, that means, so this is a red 5. This is a Luke Skywalker X-Wing fighter. This is red 5 standing by. This is pink. But the symmetrical counterpart of that is there, which is a 9. Yeah. So what we're actually being told is that this line, the pink line, no, are we? Actually, I might be wrong. No, is it just in that? Yeah, no, it depends. Oh, bobbins. No, I'm not sure what I was about to say is right at all. How on earth? It must be the 5 cage down here that's going to determine how the octopus in the end droops. Because the octopus is either going to be happy on this side and its legs are going to be up in the air, and then down on this side, or the octopus is going to have high legs up here and be down on this side. But I don't know whether it's this line or this line that provide. One of these lines is going to give rise to a 9 in one of these two squares. And therefore, that is going to be on the 3, 7 line. Because, well, yeah, what we're going to have on one, does that mean one of those is a 7? Maybe it does. Yeah, because, this is very hard to explain. But imagine that the octopus has imagine this is a 6, 8 pair. Then we know that the octopus takes these 3 squares in the order blue, red, pink. Okay? So we know that blue, the counterpart for blue, has to be here. And this is a 5, 9 pair. So this is 9. And therefore this is 7. So one of those is definitely 7, which means neither of these is 7, which means one of these is opposite 3, so neither of these is 3. And then okay. So the other line, the 4, 6 line, which could be blue or pink at this point, sort of looks like a heartbeat monitor, I think. So if it was the pink line, it would look like this, with this being 4 or 6, and this being 4 or 6. And we can't go back to 5 here. Right, so these two squares would be, this is interesting. So these two squares here are 3, 7, but I don't know what line they're on, because we could absolutely be in a situation where we're in that world. And it's the blue line that's doing the heartbeat monitor. So I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to. I don't know if they put the dishwasher on or something. I don't understand why there's so much gurgling. Yeah. So whichever is the 4, 6 line, which could be blue or could be pink, is going to bounce here into these squares where. So say it was the pink line, and this is 4 or 6, and then the next digit is here. You can see if this went 5, 4, it can't go back to 5, so it would have to go to 3. And if it went 5, 6, it can't go back to 5, so it would have to go to 7. So these two squares are a 3, 7 pair. I think this is going to do nothing, I'm afraid. One of these is definitely a 3. And that's going to be on a line. Yeah, that's going to be on a line whose next digit is in one of those two squares and is too different from 3, but can't be 5 again, because there's definitely 5s in either of these squares. So one of these two squares is a 1. It doesn't do anything either. How on earth? is this going to get disambiguated? I don't understand how we can be... I don't understand how this 5 cage is meant to do enough work here. I mean, it's actually fairly incredible that you can get to this point just with 3 cages and this weird rule. Okay, where's 5 in box 9? That is a legitimate question, because I know there's a 5 in one of those, I know there's a 5 in one of those, and I know you can't put 5 in a 5 cage, so 5 is in one of those squares. 5 is in one of those 2 squares. Yeah, so I mean, this is just the corollary of the fist and the bell ring. We're going to get 5s all over the place in the 2x2s in the corners. It's just on this side it's slightly more restricted. Yeah, okay. But the... yeah, okay. Hang on. But the... Right, I hadn't thought of this. I haven't thought of this, but I have now. Right. I haven't got my head around this, but it's something to do with extending the green and the red lines. Because the green and the red lines, as they extend further through the grid, they always have 5s on them every other cell. So let's imagine we're looking at a line that goes 1, 5, 9. The next digit, which is, because it's a difference of 4 line, the next digit is definitely 5 on that line. And then what's the next digit? It has to be a difference of 4 from 5, so it has to be 1 or 9. But then the next digit is going to be 5 again. And it's the same, I think, on the 2, 8 line. Because the 2, 8 line, so let's say we've got a line that goes 2, 5, 8, the next digit will be 5, it has to be 3 different. The next digit can be 2 or 8, but then the digit after that is still 5 again. Right, this is big, because what this means is that, well, what this means is that somehow I've got to get... I've got to join up I can see what I'm being asked to do. I have no idea how I'm going to explain it, but I think if we now imagine we've got these 2 lines, which are this line and this line, and we have to get both of those lines to the edge of the grid somehow. So the most efficient way we could do that would be a straight line, which these can't be straight lines. But let's imagine that they are dead straight. Each line would be 9 cells long. And that line, let's imagine this was only 9 cells long. How many 5s would it have on it? And the answer is 5. Well, yeah, it's 5 5s altogether. And the same is true with the green line. The green line can be a minimum. In order to get 2 cells on the perimeter, it could be a minimum of 9 cells long. In fact, yeah. I mean, it's confusing because I'm drawing it vertically, and obviously you can't put 5 5s in column 5. But just in terms of the way that the parity shifts along the line, you're going to have let's say that this was the 1 9 line. Then we know that there's a 5 next, don't we? We've got to get to the edge of the grid, we're told that, so let's try and do that efficiently. This would not, if this was a 5, this would be a 1 or a 9, and then we get to the edge of the grid and we need another 5. So actually, what we're being told is, yeah, I think we're also now capping out the possible length of the lines in the puzzle, because if the 1 9 line or the 2 8 line were longer, were say 11 cells long, there would have to be even more 5s on them than there are in the puzzle. There are only 9 5s in this puzzle. And we know that those 9 5s now have to be 5 of them are on the red line and 5 of them are on the green line. And the way we can achieve that is because one of them is shared. But what I was thinking is, how do I connect the 5 that lives in box 9, which is in one of these 2 squares, to another 5 that could be in this grid within 2 cells of it? And we've pinpointed all the positions of 5. So this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Can you see what's going to happen? So the positions of possible 5s in this puzzle are exactly this map. I'm going to draw it, everything. Those are the possible 5s for every 5 in the puzzle. Well, let's be fair. That one as well. That one in the middle. So a 5 here has to connect within 2 cells. Well, so this can't be a 5 in the bottom right. There's no way you can get it within 2 cells to a 5, to another 5. It would have to be a 5 that's outside its own box. So that is not a 5. This is a 5, definitely. And within 2 cells, I can't get to that one. I've got to get to that one with the diagonal movement. Now, okay, so what I can see this is now doing is it's structuring the octopus. The octopus now is happy on this side of the grid, because this is a 5. That means this is a 5, and we know that this is the red line, don't we, that's joining this. So the red line is now doing this. And how does the red line get to this square, which it must now do? It must provide the way that we get to this 5 in the grid. It's got to do that, and therefore it's got to do that. And that's pinpointing another 5 up here. So now, and that could be a 5 here. So, okay, this is just playing all the 5s in the grid. Maybe not. Does that mean, how do we get to this 5? Is it via that one? Because that's going to be great as well, because that's going to give me the structure of the green line, which I wasn't expecting to get. Yeah, because now, if we delete everything that's definitely not 5, we can delete all the colour from those squares, get rid of the 5s in the corners of those squares. So now, how do you connect to this? It must be via that one, which must be connected to that one. So we get to this position, we can delete the green from here. We can attach this to this, attach this to this. That, the only way of getting it again is diagonally, because you've got to get to it within 2 squares, which means that is also, maybe I could have done it by thinking about the top of the grid, but I didn't. I was looking at the bottom of the grid. So we've got a sort of pinwheel thing going on now. But much more importantly, I now know this is a 9, this is 6, 8, because it can't include a 5. And now the octopus has to stay away from these even digits. So the pink line goes like that and down to be rotationally symmetrical. The blue line goes there, and now, what's the difference? We need to have the same difference on the blue line, so that's 7. So this is 3, this is 1, this is not 1 now, this is not 3 anymore. I would absolutely love it if this now collapses. That would make me very happy. Still, I mean, how can there possibly be enough information on this now to finish? Probably what we're meant to do is to look at the midpoints of the lines that we do understand, which are those. Now we know those digits also, 1, 2, 8 and 9, don't we? Now that one can't be 1. That one can't be 9. That one can't be 9. That one can't be 1. That one can't be 2, actually. I've just noticed there's a 2-4 pair here. So this is 8 or 9. It doesn't have any effect on this, does it? This is bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. And how are we going to... Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So look at the blue line. This line here. So the next cell on this line has to be 2 different from 9. So it's a 7. Well, it can't go back into this column then. And it can't go there. Oh, no, it can't go there. It would cross a line. So it has to be there, doesn't it? I think. That feels like it must be true, which means that one. So that one goes up there, and that's a difference of 2, so that's a 3. And now the oh no, I've broken. No, I see. No, I was suddenly thinking, well, now I need a 5, but I don't, because I can go back up to 9 again. So let's go back down here and say, what's the next digit? Oh, there's a hammering noise. Well, the next digit has to be 2 different from 7 and can't be 5 because all the 5s are on the green and the red lines. So we need a 9 now. Now the 9 can't be in box 9. There's already a 9 there. It can't be here. So it's either there or there, I think. One of those 2 squares is a 9, which means that's not a 9. And the same is going to be true on this side, but with 1. Okay, which we also don't really understand then. So there's a 1 in one of those. This is not a 1. My sudoku. Oh, okay, so that's 7 now. This is 3. So that's 4. That's 6. That's 7. That's 6. Oh, this is just stunning. This is stunning. Okay, this is now not 8. Right, so I need 2, 4, and 9. I'm just going to pencil mark column 3 if you don't mind. I know it's against my better nature, but okay. Right. So how does this finish from here? We could is the middle done? It would be very maybe the 2, 4 pairs done. No. There's not some weird Sudoku jiggery pokery, as there probably is actually. Let's just try Sudoku for a moment. I mean, it would be astonishing and outrageous if the pedaling pianist has included any Sudoku in his Sudoku puzzle. I feel like I must know. That is 2 or 9. So if that's 2, obviously this digit would have to be also 2, because it couldn't be 8. So if that's 2, that's 2. And that would be 8. And that would be 2. I don't know if there's a problem with that. I can't see it if there is. 6 can't go in the 5 cage down here, so 6 is either there or there. So 6 is in one of 2 places in box 8. Okay. How strange is this? I've got loads of odd digits down this column. 3 is in one of those squares. Sorry if there's a load of drain noise in the background now. 7 is in one. There's a lot of symmetry about things. Okay, maybe it's either this cage or the extension of the pink line. I don't see how to use that cage. I'm going to think about the extension of the pink line. So the pink line now, from this direction, the next digit is either, it's got to be 1 different from 3. So it's either 2 or 4. There's a tiny restriction because you can't put 4 in that row, but there's no restriction on 2, I don't think. On this side, the extension can't go to 8, so the extension on this side does go to 6. Which is moderately interesting. Perhaps. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So there is a 6 in one of those squares, is what we're being told, I think. This must be 1 different from 7, and it can't be 8. Oh, hang on, no, why couldn't... Ah, I hadn't thought of this. What is the problem? Yeah, okay, so I misspoke slightly earlier. I was thinking about the impossibility of having an even digit on the line in the Fistemafell ring, and that was correct if that digit was the 3rd digit on the line, i.e. if it was 2 away from the centre. But here, what we could do is that, couldn't we? I hadn't thought of that. If you do that, this could be 8. Probably. That would then make this a 2. Ah, no. Ah, hang on. There might be a problem with that, which is another thing I hadn't thought of. And that thing... Oh, can we do that? I'm not sure. I'm wondering if now we can conclude that the length of line we're looking for in this puzzle is 9 from the green and the red lines, because I'm not sure we can do it though. Because imagine that, I think the only way the green and the red lines can grow again is if they grow exactly 1 more cell on each side. Because if they grow 2 more cells on each side, they'd need another 5. And we've run out of 5s altogether. Oh, hang on. No, there's something in the rules that says once you get to the edge, you stop. Ah, that's it. Right. We've got to the edge. And the rules say that once we visit the edge, those 2 cells on the edge on a line are the end of the line. So the length, right. So that means that we have finished the green and the red line at length 9, which means that the other lines are all length 9 as well. And that means I can't do what I was just envisaging here, which is to dip from the pink line to the 8, because the next digit would need to get to the edge of the grid, because this is only a length 9 line. Everything is the same length, and we need to get to the edge. So I do have to take a 6 here, and that 6 must be in one of those squares, definitely. Which means that on this side there's a 2 or a 4. That's sort of affecting that, but not in a way that's definitive. It would be much more useful if it wasn't a 2 and a 4. Oh, but hang on, if that's a 6, what's the next digit? Oh, I see. Oh, this is gorgeous. Right. Okay, so now the extension of the pink line can't be to there. Because if it was, that would be a 6. The next cell would be one of these, but would have to be a 5 or a 7, which are not allowed. So this is the only extension that we can do of the pink line. Good grief. So that means that the extension of this line is to here, to be symmetrical. But we don't know probably what that is. It's 2 or 4, and it's having some impact with this. It's sort of a virtual 2-4 pair now between these 3 squares. Because if that's a 2, this has to be a 1-4 pair. If this is a 4, this has to be a 2-3 pair. But let's come back to this, because the final piece of the jigsaw for the pink line, we've only got 1 more cell left to take. And we know that it can't be in box 4 because 5 and 7 have already disappeared. So this has to be a 7, I think, because it can't be a 5. So that has to be the final digit, which actually gives me another 7 there by sudoku. But that's the final digit of the pink line, which means the final digit of the other line is here. And now let's just see if I can do any better with the 7s than I was just doing. No, I don't think I can. I don't see how to. Okay. And this digit now is interesting, isn't it? Because if wow, okay, this can't be a 4, I don't think. This is beautiful. This is absolutely ridiculous. Pedaling pianist, you are a genius, actually. You are a genius. Look, if that's 4, what do I put into that square? And the answer is not 5, because 5's disappeared. I need a digit that's consecutive with 4, so I have to put 3. So we'd have to go 4, 3. And now how do I fill the 5 cage? 2, 3 doesn't work and 1, 4 doesn't work, so you can't do that. So in fact, this is 2. Now this is a 1, 4 pair. That's not 1. In fact, this has become an 8 now. Oh, that's going to do it. That's going to do it, because now I know what the red line is. But what's this? Oh, I see, that's 3 again. Because that's got to be basically be from the same 5 pair. Because we can't put 1 here because it would break the 5 thing. So that's got to be 3 and be 1 different. Oh, this is sublime. It's ridiculous. This is a ridiculous puzzle. Right, but now, okay, so now let's and it's also this 2 is giving us this is a 1 or a 9, which means that we now know the green line is, well, the green line is the 1, 9 line. So that's a 1. That's now a 9. This is 2 or 8. This is 2 or 8. This is 8 because it can't be 9. These squares are known. They're 3, 6, and 9, which means these are a 3, 9 pair. Look. So that's got to. Oh, I can actually do this. That's 6. That's 3. That's 9. 9 is in one of these 2 squares. Those 2 squares at the bottom of the grid are some things, 2 and 6. Yeah, okay, so we can do that. 6 in the corner, no song for me. That's now a 4 or a 9. That's a 4 by sudoku, so that must be a 2 at the top. These squares are 4, 6, and 9. Which is, yeah, that's done. That gives us a 6 in the corner. Well, nearly done anyway. We get a 4, 9 pair. The other thing I haven't done, I've just noticed, is I haven't extended the blue line all the way. So the blue line, oh yeah, we worked out that needed a 9 next at the bottom, didn't it? Which now I can see has to be here. So the blue line, and that means that's a 1. It's the same logic actually. So that's the extension of the blue line. And all lines are now finished. And all we've got to do, I say all we've got to do, this could trip me up, is sudoku. That's a 4. So that's a 4, that's a 9, that's an 8. 2, 3, 4. We need 6, 7, and 9. This is a naked single, that's a 7, so that's a 7. This is a 6, this is a 9, that's a 9, that's a 1. That's got to be a 2 now. This is a 1, 4 pair. Somehow isn't resolved. So this has got to be a 2, 8 pair. That is resolved. 2 goes there, 8 goes there. Those squares there are 3 and that's resolved. 7 and 3. So these squares now are 6, 8, 9, which might not be resolved. Partially resolved. Oh no, the 9 we can do. 9 goes there. 6 and 8. Bobbins. Okay, what about this row? 1, 3, and 4. So this is 1 or 3. This is 1, 3, or 4. 1, 2, 3, and 8 into here. 8 is in one of those squares. Oh, come on, Simon, this must be finished, isn't it? It probably is. That's not 9 anymore. Let's try 1, 2, 6, 8. What about that square? That's just 1 or 2. In fact, this row, 1, 2, and 4, that's 2 or 4. There's a 2, 4 pair now. And that's 1 or, no, it's not. That's 1. That's going to do it. So that's 2, that's 4, that's 4, that's 2, that's 2, that's 8. And hopefully, we're now on the home stretch. We need 1, 2, and 3 into this column. So that's 1 or 3. That's become a 4 by sudoku. That's got to be a 2. It's got to be a 9. That's a 3. That's a 1. That's a 1. That's a 4. These two squares are 3. Oh, we could have a 3 in the corner. It's possible. There is the possibility of a 3 in the corner down here, I think. 4 goes here. 1 goes here. 1 goes here, so 6 goes here. 6 goes here. 8 goes here. In this column, no, we're not going to get it. That's going to be a 3. So that's a 7. That's a 3. We're going to get an 8 in the corner. We're going to get an 8 there. What a brilliant puzzle that is. Is it right? Yes. Solve the puzzle, 53 minutes. Solve count of 14 in 71 days. What? I thought this was a new puzzle. 71? That's 2 months. It's over 2 months old. Good grief. That's sensational. That is a sensationally good puzzle. Killer Octopus indeed. Take a bow, the pedaling pianist. What a fabulous, fabulous construction. Ridiculous, miracle-esque, because there's not much in the grid. And yet all the logic is just tight enough that you can find a way to the end, or at least I could, even with my holiday brain in. So thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with the poor audio if it was bad. It's nice to be back. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.